Look like it's sewing in. They think that it's fucking fun. Only live one way, is Monday through Sunday. See me on the highway, they calling me the fly J. Then they see me passing by, they call me the bad J. See me when I drive, but they calling me the driveway. And I got a swing. Man, it's Texas, it's a driveway. Damn, I'ma do my thing. And I'm a woman, they calling me Moses. Every time they see me on Burn Push. What up, my guys? Over to another show. Tuesday, NBA Talk with Jay, man. Here trying to get some cash. It's every day. Shout out to Marathon Continues in the chat, man. Positive vibes only. It's all love. Shout out to all the members as well. Everybody that checked out the night show last night. A lot of these lines have moved, unfortunately. I just want to say something real quick. Unfortunately, a lot of these games are gonna be moving, man, on like overnight. Like there's a really good look, that's just gonna be moving like at least a point and a half, maybe even 2 points as well, man. So I just wanted to it's unfortunate, especially for like the people that have to wait until like the day of the game. And a lot of times it's good to wait to the day of the game. But now, like these days, we know who's playing. You're not really getting a ton of player like on these teams that are fighting for playoff push. They're not having injuries and people sitting out at the last minute unless they're actually injured. So if there's a really good spot, you might have to look towards it at night. You might have to do a little bit of research. You might have to start shifting back towards taking some spots at night just to get the best of the line. So I just wanted to say that, man. But it's all love. Appreciate everybody for tuning in to the show. Please hit the like button. Please share the show as well. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed as well, man. I can't believe there's like 30% of people that watch the show are not even subscribed to the channel, man. It's pretty crazy there, man. But regardless, hit the like button if you can. It's all love. Let's get straight down to business. I'm not here to waste your time. NBA Talk with Jay Tuesday. Let's go in this one, man. First game up, let's go over to the streets of New York in this one. Knicks land 6 points here at the house versus the Philadelphia 76ers in this one. Hopefully, OG Anunoby comes back in this one. This team, the Knicks, are 12-2 with OG Anunoby in the lineup, and they're 8-10 without him. But Tyrese Maxey does come back for the Sixers as well. But obviously, I mean, Tyrese Maxey is an absolute baller. The Sixers, the Knicks are already 2-1 versus this team already this season. They won both times in Philadelphia and then lost the last game in New York. Y'all know that this is the revenge game, Jay. Bounce back Jay spot here. Same arena. A couple days later, going with the favorite that lost the first game. Obviously, the line was a little bit lower last night, but I'd still look towards Knicks here, minus the 6 in this particular spot. It's either they're going to win by double digits or they might mess around and lose this game once again. But I don't see them losing here back to back to the Sixers. This obviously a big game for the standings as well. The Knicks are above the Sixers like one game. It's the Knicks, it's the Magic, and then it's the Sixers. They're all separated by one game. Then the Magic are a half game back. So if the Knicks they start BSing here, Magic could fuck around and like they did at some point. Magic were sitting at number 4 before they lost that last game. I believe the Magic have lost 2 games in a row now, if I'm not mistaken. They lost a couple straight games. And that's why they're sitting at number 5. And then Sixers sitting at number 6 as well. So this is obviously a big game for both teams, but that even more that tells me that OG is probably coming back in this spot. They know that they're starting to slip. They're starting to lose ground. The Knicks could have been, if they didn't have these injuries, they could have really been they could have been like a top 3 team, if not have like the number 2 seed right now. It's just those injuries really plagued them. This is the bounce back J spot here for the Knicks here, man. So I had to go with the Knicks in this one. It's up to 6. I still like the Knicks here, even at minus 6 as the top spot of the day. I mean, I wouldn't even really call it the top spot of the day because there's other spots I'm liking. And unfortunately, like this line has went up, but I still lean towards the Knicks here, minus the 6. I still think that they're the right side. Still think they come out here pissed off after only scoring 73 points in their last game. So Knicks minus the 6 is the spot today, my guys. So over to the streets of OKC in this one. Thunder land 6.5 at the house versus the Indiana Pacers. I think this line is going down to 6 now. Even it's reached 7 and it's going down to 6. And I like the way it's moving. Now, obviously, Jalen Williams is going to be a huge part. This closing line spread is going to be dependent on the status of Jalen Williams here, man. I don't really care. I think the Pacers are the right side here. I think they're finna go on a run. They didn't get Pascal Siakam to be bullshitting. They didn't get Pascal Siakam to go to win 3 of their last 7 games. I think they're going to start to put it together once again. And they had went through a tough stretch there as well. They had faced the Pelicans twice. You can't lose their game versus the Spurs. That was a really bad spot, but they bounced back. They went out there and beat the Mavs when the Mavs were hot. They beat the Mavs twice, and you can see that the Mavs were hot there. They said, no, we finna go out there and put up 130 plus points on y'all ass. They lost a really tough game versus the Timberwolves where they could have won that game if Anthony Edwards didn't turn into Superman late in that game. And obviously the Timberwolves, one of the toughest defense in the league as well, went out there and showed up versus the Magic. They're going up against another tough defensive team here tonight. And the Thunder are a really good home team as well, but I still feel like this is like a tad disrespectful to the. It's not disrespectful because the Thunder have to be like in this point spread range, but the Thunder they are in a little bit of a, I'm not gonna say a look ahead spot because they don't really look ahead in games. That's just not how they're built. But I do feel like this is a huge game on deck versus 2 MVP caliber type of players, SGA versus Luka in their next game in Dallas as well. And the last time they faced off, they lost by 35 points. They lost 146 to 111 to the Mavs. You can't tell me that you're not even at least a little bit have that spot circled on your calendar here, man. So I do think the Pacers are, excuse me, are due to come up. Obviously in the standings, they can't be bullshitting around either. That's why I say, man, a lot of these games, like you're not finna just see motherfuckers ruled out at the last minute, man. Pacers sitting at the number 7 seed right now. If they win today and the Sixers lose, the Pacers will get up to the 6th seed. Like you don't want to be in the play-in tournament. You don't even want to give it a chance to where you got to be like in a win or go home situation. You want to be in that top 6. And so those players, those teams that's around that 6, 7, 8, they're trying to gun to get out of the play-in tournament, man. And it makes sense. I think the Pacers might shock the world in this one, man. I think Pacers plus the 6, plus the 6.5. I know the Thunder are a great team, but like I say, if Jalen Williams isn't able to play, there would be a huge blow in this one. He's their 3rd, maybe even 2nd most important player. I know when he scores 27 or more points, I believe they're like 11-1, 12-1 this season. That's how important he is to the team. SGA and Chet, they're going to do what they do. They need that 3rd guy to really ball in this, and that's Jalen Williams. So he did turn his ankle in the last game. I watched it. It wasn't too bad. He stepped on the cameraman's foot and kind of, but he could barely get up. Not gonna say he could barely get up and down the floor. He took a little while to get up and down the floor, and then he axed right out of the game and then didn't come back. But there was versus the Grizzlies. They did have a huge lead. He is a young guy, but I also still wouldn't be surprised if he was like, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and sit this one out and get ready for that Mavs game here. Obviously that's a Western Conference team. This one's an Eastern Conference. I think the Pacers are done effing around, and I think they might come to play in this one. I wouldn't be surprised if they won this game outright, especially if Jalen Williams is out for this game. I'd heavily lean towards the Pacers here, plus the 6, and I really like where this spread is going as well. And I still couldn't talk you off SGA over his 32.5 points. Still couldn't talk you off. Let's go over to the streets of San Antonio in this one. Spurs getting 4 points at the house versus the Houston Rockets in this one. This game is obviously really big, really dependent on Wemby here. I'll tell you that right now. It's really big on Wemby here, and Vassell for that matter. I think the Rockets might struggle here, mainly because now obviously Cam Whitmore is out off the bench. They still have some guys that can step in for him, but when you're missing Şengün, that's a huge miss for the Rockets. And when he went down, I was like, man, who the Rockets play next? Who the Rockets play next? I don't think people really understand how important he is to that team, guys. The guy he's a walking double-double damn near every night. He's almost like their Sabonis. He's like in between the Rockets, Sabonis, and Jokic as well. They give him the ball at the top of the key. He loves to he's a really great passer. He's a great rebounder. He's a great scorer. Just ask the Lakers. Every time he goes against the Lakers, he gives them fits. The Rockets have beaten the Spurs 4 of the last 5 times. The Spurs beat them earlier this season in the first matchup at home, and then the Rockets won both times in Houston as well. And we know that the Rockets aren't the best road team as well here. So I can see these two teams going 2-2 versus each other, to be perfectly honest with you, man. I just want to see what the Rockets are as a away favorite, just real quick, man. I mean, it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, but I just want to see real quick, man, what. Now my computer bullshitting. So let me see. Rockets as an away favorite. I know that they're all the way at the bottom. Let me see. So Rockets, Houston they're 3-2 against the spread as an away favorite, guys. So, but we know just period as a away team. Period. They're not that great. Let me see what the ATS is. As just the away team. Fuck, my computer tripping, man. I don't want the Rockets on the road. It's serious. It's just that simple. I definitely don't want them laying points. Now, obviously, everybody took the Spurs yesterday. They got their teeth kicked in, and they're gonna say, "Oh, well, the Spurs are ass. The Spurs are not good." Well, I still think that they can ball and they can match up versus this Rockets team. Obviously, Spurs are tanking, but they're in kind of that middle zone to where even if they win a few games, they're still going to be sitting in like the fourth worst record in the league there. So it's not like they can afford to win a game or two. Rockets are 13-8-1 against the spread as the road team here. So it's not as bad as it used to be, especially after they come out there and won versus the Kings. But I still lean Spurs here. I lean Spurs plus the 4. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if they shocked the world and won this game outright, man. I would not be surprised whatsoever. And if Wemby plays, that might be enough to push me over the edge to take the Spurs here. He's not that he's unlikely, he's uncertain. Pop said he would see how they feel, him and Devin Vassell. He said he would see how they feel today. Obviously, Wemby was just out for like 4 games, and I think that they might have laid down for the Warriors yesterday. It's crazy because like they was winning. It's like, oh shit, hold on, we're not really supposed to win this game. They were up 10, and then Warriors came back, and then right out of the halftime as well, went on an 8-0 run. They were up 68-58, and then the Warriors go on another run. It's almost like they're like, hold on, pump your brakes. I think the Spurs plus the 4 are the right side in this game. If Wemby plays, I think that's going to tell us that they're if he doesn't play, they're not trying to win. If he plays, I think that they're live to win this one, especially with no Şengün out there. Let's go over to the streets of Utah in this one, man. The Celtics are going to play with you all day. They're going to fuck around with you. Fuck, man. My computer is trying to fuck with the show, my guys. But and this is how the Celtics gonna do with you. They're gonna have all these guys on their injury report today. You never know who's gonna play in this one. Now, Drew Holiday sat in yesterday's game, and then Drew Holiday and Porzingis sat in yesterday's game. Brown, Tatum, and Derek White all end up playing. It's crazy because they did some fishy shit. The line went all the way down. People were hopping on the Blazers, and then the Celtics still smacked their ass up, man. So this is that spot where you don't necessarily want to back them. If there was a spot, now, I mean, I'm not taking the fucking – first off, I'm not fading the Celtics, and I'm not taking the Jazz here. But the spot sets up well for Utah here. Now, obviously, whenever Lauri Markkanen is out, I'm not even looking the Jazz way. They're only 2-8 straight up in their last 10 games. They did just cover 3 of the last 4. They got smacked up versus the Nuggets 142-121. But you look at the Celtics, this is a back-to-back third game in 4 nights, fourth game in 6 nights as well, all on the road. And this is the last game of the 5-game road trip as well. Now, they've only went 2-2 on the road trip, so I'm sure at least they want to go 3-2. But I mean, the Celtics are getting ready for the playoffs. They're going to have the number 1 seed. I know that they're not just going to really get up for this game. And this is the back-to-back in altitude with travel, like road back-to-back, going to Utah or going to Denver. Those are some of the worst spots in the league. In the NBA, seeing how they got such high elevation. You know what I'm saying? So I know that the Celtics want to avoid injury. They really have championship aspirations. So wouldn't be surprised if Tatum or Brown, or I don't know if they could sit both of them, but I would be surprised if both of them sat in this one. I think the injury report will tell you everything you know. The spot sets up well for the Jazz, guys, but I'm just telling you, like, the Jazz aren't the greatest team. They don't really have a ton of depth. They do have young guys that play really hard, but when Lauri Markkanen's not out there, I'm not really looking their way. But in theory, the spot would set up to take the home dog with the rest advantage in this particular spot, guys. Just I'm not doing it. So I hope that makes sense. The spot says Jazz. I'm not betting it. Everything sets up well for him, but it's just I can't get there. So if you like the Jazz, don't let me talk you off. It's definitely the spot. I don't bet every game that I see that I am a spot better, but I don't bet every single spot. You got to pick and choose your spots. That's how I make money in the NBA. So if you are forcing to play on this game, personally, I wouldn't bet the Celtics, but also, I wouldn't bet the sorry ass fucking Jazz either, man. But it's not a great spot for the Celtics here, guys. Usually, this is a down spot. This is a spot that teams run out of gas in the fourth quarter here. So if the Celtics get up 20 in this one, I would definitely look towards live betting the Jazz in the fourth quarter in this one. Let's go over here to the streets of LA in this one. Clippers land 6.5 points versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. I do expect everybody that's questionable in this game to play. This is a huge game. This is a bigger game for the Clippers because they're only 1-2 1-2 so far this season versus the Minnesota Timberwolves, and this is their chance. If they really want the number 1 seed or number 2 seed or best seed possible, this is a must-win game for the Clippers here. Paul George and Kawhi Leonard are questionable. They're probably going to play. I don't see them sitting out versus the Wolves. Rudy Gobert is questionable, and still questionable as well. They're fucking playing in this game, man. I can't say for sure, but I'd be very surprised if either one of these guys on the injury report sat out. You got Ant calling these guys old and shit. They're always going to remember that. They did just beat them at the house 89-88 as well as 2.5-point underdogs with Cat still in there. Without Karl-Anthony Towns, the Wolves offense most of the time is stuck in the mud. You got Anthony Edwards out there trying to do everything. The thing I didn't like about in the Lakers game, they weren't really even running plays for most of the game. It was kind of just Anthony Edwards one-on-one. Let's see if you can make something out of nothing. And that's not how you run offense. You got to run at least some plays, at least some sets over there. Obviously the Clippers have been bullshitting as well. Both of these teams have been bullshitting. Clippers 3-7 against the spread last 10 games. The Timberwolves are 2-8 against the spread in their last 10 games and 1-7 in their last 8. So I do think the Clippers have a little bit more higher ceiling. Even though they're still missing Westbrook, I do think they have a higher ceiling. They have a lot of interchangeable players as well. Now Gobert's going to make it tough on them in the paint, but this is a tough game. I'm not betting this game. I would lean to the Clippers. It's a tad high for me, but I do think the line is telling us everything we need to know. I think the line is telling us that the Clippers likely win this game by double digits. Like I said, they were 2.5-point underdogs in Minnesota, and then now both these teams have equal risk, and now you have the Clippers laying 6.5. It's kind of telling us that the Clippers are the right side, because you look at it like, damn, it's kind of a big spread, but they don't set the lines there for no reason. Like, if they feel like the Wolves were fucking around going to win this game or had a chance, the line would be like 2.5, 3.5. The fact that it's 6.5, even with Paul George and Kawhi Leonard questionable, which obviously Gobert is questionable on the other hand as well, but I still lean towards the Clippers here. If I had to bet this game, I'd lay the points with the Clippers. It's just one of those type of games that I'd rather watch and learn, maybe even live bet as well. You might get, sometimes the Clippers come out bullshit and you can get a better line with them, but if I had to lay them full game, if I had a free bet on it, I'd be taking Clippers minus 6.5, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was an under type of game as well, like a defensive playoff style type of game in this one, playoff series in this one, man. The unders are back, man. I know a lot of people like to take overs, but them unders been taking motherfuckers' money for sure, man. Them unders been smacking, my guys. Last game up, let's go over to the streets of Sacramento in this one. Kings were at +3 last night, and the line has steamed all the way down to +1. Even, let me see, you even seeing some picks. It's a pick at Circa out there. So three of the sharpest books got Sacramento as a pick in this one. So this line is going down, man. Now the Bucks, they've absolutely owned the Kings. They've won 16 straight. It might be 17, but I know they've won at least 16 straight matchups versus the Sacramento Kings the last game. But the Kings are kind of starting to show that they're teetering on a win versus the Milwaukee Bucks. But the only thing that scares me, because the last time they faced them, when they lost 143-142, I believe Dame Lillard hit like a game-winning shot or something like that. That's when the Bucks were in bad form. They're not in such bad form anymore. Now, obviously, they lost the first couple games on this road trip. This is the last game of their 4-game road trip. They've actually played a ton of fucking road games lately here, to be honest with you. The Bucks have played 8 of their last 10 games on the road. So this will be their 9th road game in their last 11 games. That's kind of tough, man, to be honest with you. It might even go back further than that. So now the first one was right before All-Star break, but since All-Star break, they've played 7 of their last 9 games on the road. They were in Minnesota. They were in Philly, went home for 1 game versus Charlotte, then on the road versus Charlotte, then Chicago, at home 1 game versus the Clippers, then Golden State, Lakers, Clippers, and then now Sacramento before they head back to the house for a 2-game homestand, then head back on a road. So this is kind of like a brutal. The Bucks have low-key kind of been all over the place, to be honest with you. I can't bet against the Kings here, because when you got 16 times revenge, on one end you can say, all right, the Bucks absolutely own them, but on the other hand, you got to say the Kings they're fucking tired of losing to these guys, man. Like, as a competitor, as true competitors, which I know De'Aaron Fox, I know that guys like Sabonis, Mike Brown, the coach, I know that they're true competitors, and they're like that's bulletin board material. We lost 16 straight to these guys, man. We had a chance to beat them in Milwaukee, and now we're at the house. They're coming off of a home loss as well as a 6.5-point favorite to the Rockets. 3rd straight home game as well. This could actually be a really good spot for the Kings in the first quarter, man. Especially seeing that the Bucks, this is their ninth straight game. No, this is their 11th straight game playing in a new arena. They haven't got technically Lakers Clippers same arena, but you know what I mean. You see what I'm saying? It's all road games, man. But yeah, I guess that kind of throws a little wrench in it because Lakers Clippers the same arena, but still they've been traveling all over the place. In theory, they would say that the Kings come out here strong in the first quarter here. I do still lean to the under here as well. It's crazy because last night I was talking about that it was 237 and a half, 238, and it's been steamed down 3 points. And I like the way that the spread's going. If the Kings can actually play some defense sometimes. I've watched them a few times this year, and they'd actually try to lock up on defense, man. So it doesn't happen all the time, but in this one, if they want to win, you got to lock up on defense. And when you have guys like Patrick Beverley coming off the bench for the Bucks, he's a defensive guy. Like him and Davion Mitchell are basically like the same type of guys. Really kind of struggle on offense. They're out there just to kind of fuck shit up. They're out there to muck the game up and get foul calls on him. Like Patrick Beverley could foul out I'm getting at least 5 fouls every game. I don't care. I'm telling the refs right now, put me down for 5 fouls because I'm getting them. You see, and I'm gonna earn them as well, man. But I slight lean to the Kings and the under. It's not something that I'm super heavy on, but slight leans to the Kings and the under and nail it, my guys. But that's the show. Not gonna lie to you, these cards are getting tougher and tougher, my guys. So I always tell people, bet whatever you absolutely love. If you're forcing plays on some of these games, man, it's not that time of the year. If I were you, I'd look towards college basketball or something. But these games are getting really tight. The spreads are getting harder and harder to beat. They're also getting steamed, like whether it's the spread or it's the totals. They're getting steamed like 2 points, 2-3 points overnight, guys. So I never really suggest guys taking the worst of the line. Sometimes you might have to look at these games the night before and say, hey, what do I like? You know what I'm saying? Let me look into some shit. Let me research some shit. What do I like? And maybe take some of these overnight lines because it's getting to that point of the season, like especially when it's not a tanking team. They're playing their guys and they're playing serious and they're playing defense as well. That's why you're seeing a lot of these games go under, man. So what I'm liking today is the Knicks. I'd still lean their way at -6. Right after that, it would be Pacers. Right after that, the heavy lanes would be Pacers +6, Spurs +4, Benel, my guys. And those would be my strongest looks of the day for today. Not gonna lie to you, it's a tough card, man. These cards are gonna get tougher and tougher. When I absolutely love a play, you'll know about it. But right now, these cards are tough as hell, man. To be honest with you, my guys. So Knicks -6 will be the top spot of the day. After that, Pacers +6, Spurs +4, one favorite and 2 underdogs, man. I think all 3 of them shit's cash, my guys. But we still only bet whatever you absolutely love. If you feel like you might regret it, don't bet it, my guys. I definitely got to put that on a shirt. It's all positive vibes. I appreciate y'all for tuning into the show. If you like the show, if you like the info, please hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel, man. We don't even get 1,000 likes on the show anymore, man. I feel like this a little bit selfish. It's the least you could do. It's just a thumbs up. Just hit the like button, my guys. It's a little disrespectful, but we'll be doing a night show tonight at 10:30 p.m. Eastern, my guys. So y'all join up, check the channel out. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Hit the like button, and we out, my guys. Let's get some cash. I hope everybody has a great day. Best of luck on whatever you're betting.